I finished it. So I finished season 1. Again, no spoilers to anybody who's watched this. Hasn't watched it, I won't spoil it. And if you've watched it, don't spoil it in the comments. I only got 5 views for the first half, which is fine because that's 5 people who will have seen a review for this. Now, I should be doing a hockey video right now, but I have this channel too for a reason. Because not everything in my life is hockey. Don't look at the hat. Don't look at the jersey. Don't judge. There's a poster right over here. That's Doctor Who. Hey, that's back soon, thankfully. And there's Star Wars and Simpsons, and there's a Transformers poster I have that I don't even have put up yet that has all the original Transformers from the 80s on it. But I don't have a poster of this, and I should. Not necessarily Ash versus Evil Dead. I want a poster of the Evil Dead reboot, and I want a poster of the original Evil Dead would be cool to have a poster of too. I wouldn't mind a poster of this though. Now, the second half of the season, which is the episodes are Killer of Killers, Fire in the Hole, Ashes to Ashes, Bound in Flesh, and The Dark One. I read a review for the season after I watched it, and apparently there's those who believe that there are too many episodes. There's 10 half-hour episodes. Does it slow down in the middle? Yes. Does it need to? Yes. Because you flesh out the characters Pablo and Kelly, and you make it so people care about them. If you cut out those episodes that seem like filler, then there's nothing there. There's no reason to give a shit at the end when they're in the end battle about whether Pablo lives or Kelly. And man, they make you wonder about both. And I'm not going to spoil it. I am quite angry with the finale, and yet it was amazing. Heather, and I just mentioned her in a video I just posted, which will probably not be well received, but despite it not being well received, Heather, the actress that plays her, Samara Weaving, and I haven't even looked to see if she's in relation to Hugo Weaving. I doubt it, but it's possible, I guess. Isn't he Aussie too? I'll look it up. It doesn't matter. Probably the most stunning woman I've ever seen in a movie or a TV show. I mean that. And I thought Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn was number one, but this girl is it. And you know, there's no sex in it, and you don't see her naked or anything. But she's gorgeous. And as soon as I saw her, I started cursing. Because while the actress that plays Kelly is cute, and Lucy Lawless is still Lucy Lawless, she's still Xena, and the cop, the lady cop in this, she's beautiful. I'm not taking anything away from her, but this blonde walked in, and I mean, just stunning. And I was like, oh no. No, Sam Raimi, no. In Evil Dead 2, they bring in the actress who would go on to play on, she was on One Life to Live as Blair. And very striking. Very striking. And I'm trying to remember now who was originally scheduled for that role and backed out at the last minute. I can't remember, but she was also very pretty. And Sam Raimi seems to almost take joy in bringing in these beautiful actresses and then putting them through hell. There's a nice juxtaposition in the last few episodes once they bring Heather into this, that she's normal. So you have Ash, Kelly, and Pablo, the three on the cover here, and they're used to fighting these demon things. So it's not really a surprise to them anymore, and they're kind of conditioned for it, and blood and guts are no big deal. So you put this blonde in there, you just plop her in the middle, and she's screaming at everything. Demon face pops up, she's screaming. The dead coming back to life, she's screaming. Her leg, compound fracture, you see a bone protruding out of her leg, she's screaming in pain. And what do all the characters on the show say? Shut up. Shh, shut up. Not you, Shadow. No, you're a good kitty. But that's the attitude that they have towards her. And it's like, it sort of reminds me of this show here. Okay, Doctor Who has companions so that you see how you might react in a situation. It brings the humanity to the show. And to me, it felt like Heather was dropped in for the last 3 episodes to bring a little bit of humanity and a little bit of levity into it as well. I think maybe when Raimi and Campbell and Tappert were coming up with these last few, I think they realized that once you go back to the cabin, and what is beautiful about this series, and I mean beautiful, is that they acknowledge both the original Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2. Because now Sam Raimi has the rights to footage of both. So it melds them into one thing, which it was supposed to be the whole time anyways. Evil Dead 2 was supposed to just recap Evil Dead 1 and then pick up where it left off. Raimi just didn't keep the rights to his own movie, so Evil Dead 2 had to kind of be this weird sequel, reboot, strange thing. I remember the first time I watched Evil Dead 2, I was like, why is Ash listening to the tape again? Why doesn't he have any memory of being at this cabin before? Why is he there with another woman named Linda? Like, I was just baffled. I had no idea. And then I heard that Raimi lost the rights. So this show says, okay, both of these things happened. But it shows Shelley in the cellar. And when there's echoes going on in the cabin, there's echoes from the first movie and the second movie. But I think because they went with the darker elements of the movies, they didn't go with the entire room laughing at Ash, that whole weird thing that happens in Evil Dead 2. Because that didn't happen, and they just went with the darker elements of Evil Dead. They went with the clock. They went with Shelley in the cellar. They went with all of the dark things. The difference being Ash's hand was also featured. That's the only almost goofy part, but the hand is more sinister in the series than it was in the movie. The movie, it was strictly done to show Bruce Campbell's comedic physical comedy. And he's very good at physical comedy. He's insanely good at it, really. But with that in play, I think these 3 Aussie characters were dropped in to break things up and to add a little bit of comedic relief. And I say that in that it's a really grotesque, bizarre way that they're comedic relief. Okay? There's a couple of demises in here that are really nasty. And yet they play it for laughs. There's a lot of black comedy in here. A lot. I know one thing I've always heard is that there's a lot of black comedy in the original Evil Dead. There is, but it's creepy as shit. The original Evil Dead, when I was a kid watching it, creeped me out so bad that decades later, I'm still having nightmares based on the original Evil Dead. There's this feeling I get sometimes where I'm in a dream and I'm like, oh, I'm in the Evil Dead. And there's really creepy demon shit going on. Like, really creepy. And I usually wake up right away and I'm like, oh, it's an Evil Dead dream. That's the only movie that really does that to me. Now, I have Friday the 13th dreams every now and then, but they're not in that same... The Evil Dead, the original movie, has this effect. So I think when Sam Raimi sends the show back to the cabin, he goes, this is dark. Plop, hikers are coming in. I need a little bit of something in here. And then they have Ash's double. And they have a really clever way that Kelly and Pablo discover which one's really Ash and which one isn't. Which was funny as hell. I really laughed at it. I thought it was really clever. And the only thing that kind of threw me off was that they early on portray the female cop as being after Ash to stop him from what he's doing. She sees him as a murderer. And then he hits on her. And then she responds like, oh yeah, cool. And I'm thinking, wait, what? So there's this sexual chemistry that suddenly shows up. because plot says so. That is the only weakness in the show that I've picked up. Is that all of a sudden Ash has this crush on her, and she responds in kind, and they kind of make it seem like at the end, like, they're star-crossed lovers almost, and that's not in the show at all before that episode. So that seemed out of place. It did. It wasn't Anakin Padme awkward, but it was a little bit awkward. But fantastic show. I really, honestly, um, I'm very much looking forward to season 2. I may have to find torrents because I don't have a channel that plays it, and I know season 2 started, and I don't want to read spoilers. I don't want anybody to tell me any spoilers. The way that season 2 ends is fantastic. It is a true. Ash is given a moral decision, and he makes the decision that Ash would make, because Ash is out for one thing: himself. Throughout Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness, at no point does he really truly become a hero. He almost does, but every time he almost does, he backs away from and goes, I'm really more worried about myself than you people. He shows a little more humanity at the end of this season, but he's still really concerned about himself because he thinks he's really quite good looking and really quite important. So that I found funny. I genuinely found that entertaining, and his character stays true all the way through. And just the little things. He's wearing the shirt that he wore in Evil Dead. He's got the gun chainsaw set up exactly the same as it was in the Evil Dead movie by the end of Evil Dead 2. The way that the hand looks is spot on from the 1986 Evil Dead 2 movie. Lucy Lawless manages to stay really strange, and you don't really know her deal. If anybody cares about seeing her naked, you see her naked in this, but if you're curious about that, just Spartacus. Just saying. I think guys in the 90s, if they'd known just how readily Lucy Lawless would take her clothes off, I think there would have been a lot less concern about Xena. But every time something like that happens, I'm reminded of that Simpsons episode where Lucy Lawless is being taken away by the Collector, and her breastplate is stuck to the magnet, and she's like, must remove breastplate, and every guy puts their camera up, and she's like, forget it, because everybody's just waiting, and now it's just sort of commonplace. So anyways, she puts in a really good performance. I really enjoyed her in this. She rides that line well, that you don't know her motivation until the end. You don't know whether she's good, she's evil. You get the feeling she's both. And even at the end, they don't really clarify just how good or evil she really truly is, or what her real plan is. So I'm really hoping that with season 2 they flesh that out. But I really have to get streams. Anyways, thanks for watching this if you watched it. I can't recommend this enough. It is 5 out of 5. Fantastic. I didn't see the lull that everybody else, I guess, saw in the middle of the season. I think it was just to establish Pablo and Kelly as characters. I think the only thing that threw me off was the strained, I guess they love each other, between the cop and Ash towards the end of it. I didn't buy that at all. I really didn't. I was like, this is bewildering. Why? And I almost felt like it was tacked on so that when the cop's in peril, we give a shit. Because Ash cares about her, now we care about her. And I don't subscribe to that at all. I guess we'll see. Anyways, that's it for that. And I will definitely be back with more videos soon. Don't unsubscribe. But if you're coming through and looking at stuff, hit like and subscribe, and I will be reviewing other shows, other movies, talking about stuff that goes on with TV, or for instance the video I posted earlier today, where stuff I see just bothers me, so that may occur as well. So anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you all again soon.